for the past decade and a half, maybe even more, I've been a professional, some would say photographer, but I would say a memory hoarder. My job has been to preserve other people's memories, but as well as my own. I took a lot of photos of people, places, but mostly feelings. And it's really a wonderful job because you get to keep something that would otherwise either slip away or be forgotten. But this, exactly this, has got me wondering, how do we preserve these memories in our brains when we don't have photographs to connect them to? So let me put this into perspective. So as a photographer, I save my photos. I save them on hard drives. I save them on USBs. I save them on cloud. You get the point. I save them all over the place. I'm not a very organized person, but I'm able to find them. But one thing is for sure, when I open a photo that I took, let's say, 12 years ago, and I photographed maybe even some of you here, I'm definitely certain that I will find the exact same framing, color, light that I took in that moment. But my question is, what happens when I try to remember something that happened 12 years ago? Will I remember all of that? Definitely no. But is what I remember the truth? So let me tell you a story. I have a friend, Selma. She's my best friend for ages now. We've been through a lot of things together. And sometimes we have a coffee together, and of course, I'll tell a story about something that happened 6 years ago, or sometimes even 3 days ago. She'll gently listen to me and leave me until the end of my story, because she's that kind of a person. And then she'll tell me, I'm sorry, but that's not what happened. That's not how I remember it. And the thing is, Selma is definitely, she has a point, but I also have my point, because my personal story, I'm 100% sure it's true. And she's also sure her version is true. How can it be that we have been at the same place, at the same time, with the same people, and we came out of that situation with completely two different edits? I see some of you nodding here. It doesn't just happen to me, it happened to probably a lot of you too. But there's one thing you need to know about Selma, apart from her being an amazing person. She's very factual, she's a lawyer, she sticks to facts, and she's very objective. On the other hand, me, being a little bit chaotic, I like to color my memories with a lot of emotions. Sometimes I even add a little bit of extra brush strokes probably to these events. So both my version and Selma's version are the truth. But we've been to the same place at the same time, and we have two different stories. So memories are weird. They're very fascinating, but they're a little bit weird. So it's a little bit similar to the situation. How many of you here are parents? Raise your hand. Okay. So I'm guessing all of you know this story. It's a classic one. You're telling your other friends, possibly adults, a story, and you're in your full flow. You're painting a cinematic view, and you know everybody's into it. And in the middle of your story, your kid walks in, looks at you dead straight, and says, "That never happened." I know you've been through that. If you're a parent and you have a kid, they make you question everything. They make you question, did this really happen? Am I making all of this up? I mean, they make you question your life choices anyways, but your memories as well. Like, have I been through this exact situation? So there's a scientific term for this. You're not making things up. There's a scientific point. It's called memory reconsolidation. So the thing is, basically each time you try to remember something, each time you recall a memory, imagine it being like a file in your brain, and you pull out that file. When you pull out a file on your drive, you make a small edit, and then you click save. And that save is next time you open that file, you have only one version of the document. You don't have the previous versions. So this is something that neuroscientist Karim Nader explored with his team in the early 2000s. So what they are claiming is that we only have these last versions of truth in our brains. But the first version was erased by the last one, where we added a little bit of story and a little bit of brushstrokes to it. So that memory you all love, that thing you remember from your childhood, that thing you told millions and millions of times because you had so much fun. I have to disappoint you. Probably it's not the complete truth. It's the image you have in your head. And you are 100% sure you have it vividly. You have the faces, you have the place in your head. But it's probably not the truth. So I used to spend summers in a small village in Croatia. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Duboka. Has anyone? Okay, my people. So, I love that you know what I'm talking about. I used to spend a lot of my summers as a child in Duboka. And when I remember my childhood there, guys, it's like scenes from the White Lotus. If you watch the White Lotus, it's like dreamlike. It's sunsets, it's, and then you add my friends there. It's Sanjin playing his guitar like Jimi Hendrix. And then Azra and Dino cracking jokes. And then Alma and Vesna jumping from the pier. And it's always either sunrise or sunsets in my memories. So a few years ago, I went back to Duboka. It's nothing like it. It's more like, it is like a movie scene, but it's more like Honey, I Shrank the Kids than the White Lotus. Everything seemed smaller. It's still there, but the streets are more narrower. The houses are not the way I remember them. So what happened in my brain? What happened to the palm tree that I glamorized so much? That is actually some sort of Mediterranean bush. There aren't palm trees in Duboka, but in my head, I was 100% sure that there are. I think my brain was just editing my memories, adding to the stuff, and my brain is probably an amazing PR to Duboka. So the truth is, I did have an amazing childhood there. I did have all of these friends. It's just that Sanjin did not play a guitar like Jimi Hendrix. It was fun. We laughed. And my emotions shaped that memory. It was great. I still remember it, and I still, up to this day, have these palm trees, have these sunsets. Although as an adult, I know how it looks in reality now. So it's very similar to, and I'm looking at my colleagues right now, photographers and videographers, because they know what I'm talking about. It's very similar to edits videographers or photographers do when they go to an event. Now, how many times have you been to an event where almost nobody knows anybody, either it's business or it's like influencers meeting, and then it's an awkward situation where you can do small talks for 5 minutes, and then after that it's like, oh my God, when is this going to end? Because I wasted all of my small talk. You smile here and there, yeah, but most of the night it's quite awkward. And then you wake up and you open Instagram, and there's a video that Marco edited, and everything looks, oh my God, it was the party of the year. I had so much fun, and I didn't know I had fun. So it's something like that. We do that to our brains. We kind of snap the things that we like, we place them in our head, and we let go of everything else. Somebody reminded me before this talk of that scene from Harry Potter, the beautiful scene where Dumbledore, Harry Potter fans? Okay, my people. Where Dumbledore actually takes that magic wand and takes all of his memories and put them in Yeah, in a memory pond or exactly. I wish we could do that more often. We do that. We tend to remember things we highlight, but some of the things we let go. And it's an amazing thing, actually. It would be very, very scary it would be like a scene from the Black Mirror to be able to remember everything. Imagine the grudges we would hold if we would remember everything. So it's good to let go. It's good to remember the things that are important to us. So my mom doesn't have a lot of photos from her childhood. It's a typical story, I'm guessing half of you guys here have, middle class, you just have a photographer in those ages where you hire them and they take photos at, well, where everybody's well-dressed and, you know, behaving well, and very similar to Instagram situations today, family photos. So she doesn't have those candid moments, but she has certain memories from her childhood that she claims 100% that were true. One of these memories, apparently, I'm sure all of you have heard this one, is both her and my father have walked at least 5 kilometers through snow, uphill, both ways, to get to school. She is 100% sure that that is true, absolutely. Is she lying? No. Is that true? No. So something in between. Our brains are storytellers, and storytellers like to add juice. So that's the only thing that we need to rely on. And photos as well. When we think of photos, we think, okay, that's hard evidence. But it doesn't have to be. As a photographer for ages now, I have to tell you that we are able to capture the moment and stress out a certain thing that maybe you weren't aware of. Or maybe we can even catch you mid-blink or mid-sentence. And then when you look at that photo a few days after, you'll think, this is not how things happened. It can also look weird. So I've been rethinking everything I know about memories lately. And there's this one photo that I really love, and it's really dear to my heart. And that is the photo that I took of my dad. He used to drive his bike a lot, and the photo is him riding his bike towards me and looking at me, and there's something like on his face, a little bit proud and a little bit annoyed that I'm taking yet another photo, while he probably told me to do something else. But right now, I'm rethinking all of the memories that I have, because my father passed away a few months ago, and now my emotions related to that moment have changed. So each time I look at that photo, I probably add something emotional, something new to that moment. So again, my question is, can we really trust our brains? Are our memories true as we think they are? Well, I think the answer is partially, and we don't need our memories to be perfect replicas. We just need our memories to remind us who we love, who we trust, and what's important to us. And to conclude this, I've written something I don't want to make wrong, so I'll read it. Our memories are not evidence. They're echoes. They're fragments. Reminders that we lived, that we loved, that we laughed so hard that it shaped the whole memory, that it shaped the whole moment. And I think this is why I became a photographer. Not to get everything exactly right, but to capture something before it slips away.